Good morning, everybody. This is a different Sunday. We're going to have a video. I'm just going to be up here for a couple of minutes. I've never opened for a video before, but I'm going to give that a shot this morning. The video is a presentation that has been put together. It's about 20 minutes long, and it's about Royal Family Kids Camp. So just real quick, I would like to ask anyone who was involved with Royal Family Kids Camp the last time that we did it, can you please stand up? If you were involved, please stand up. And I don't mean like were you boots on the ground, I mean were you a part of the Lions Club that showed up for the carnival, for the birthday? Were you part of the women's club who put on the tea party and the little girls' afternoon? Did you send up a spouse? If you weren't there, but you sent your spouse, you were involved, stand up. Stand up if you sent a spouse. I'm making eye contact with you. Did you send a teenager? We had photographers up there. We had volunteers who couldn't be counselors, but they sent their sons or daughters. Did you send a teenager up there? Did you support financially? If you're too embarrassed to stand up, but you sent some money or something, just stand up. Were you part of the supply chain? We had a chain going up and down the mountain. If anyone needed laundry done or any special need that we didn't have met before the kids got there, were you a part of that? And lastly, I will ask, did you pray? Were you just involved in prayer? If you were involved in prayer for this camp, stand up. Stand up. Everybody who prayed for this camp to happen, stand up. I'm going to ask you to remain standing for just 1 minute, if you don't mind. I saw that some of you sat down. It's okay, you got chairs in front of you, you can lean. Lean on the chairs. If it was a physical impediment, just lean on the chair in front of you. It's okay. 1 Peter 4:10 tells us, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Any and everybody familiar with that passage right there? What is manifold? Like when I think of manifold, I think of like an intake or exhaust manifold. Here's some synonyms though, just in case you need some context for this. Manifold means many, numerous, multiple, multitudinous, multiplex, legion, diverse, various, several, very different, miscellaneous, assorted, copious, abundant, a myriad. And grace is God's love towards those who have merited the opposite. And in this case, these kids who have been rejected, abused, abandoned, lied to and told that they are not worthy of the grace or the mercy or the love of God. These are the people that helped to correct that lie. And I ask you guys to stay standing because it does mean many, it does mean numerous, it does mean various. We all have different gifts. Whether that's just maybe you pray very well, maybe you're financially blessed and you can help financially in a way that others can't. Maybe you can be boots on the ground when others can't be there as boots on the ground. Our goal is to show these children the truth about who they are and whose they are. And this right here, if you're standing, or if you were standing at one point and sat down, this is the manifold grace of God. God's grace is one thing. And through us it is made many. It is made manifold. You guys can go ahead and be seated. Thank you for standing up for so long. I've never done that before. We're going to watch a video. And if you weren't involved, I hope that this video encourages you to be involved in any way. In prayer, in finance, in volunteer hours. Whatever you can do, we need it. It takes a huge effort and it's a huge price tag to put this camp on. And these kids who have been told that they're worthy of nothing, they've been thrown into the system, they've been spat back out, they show up there and we show them that they are worthy of God's love. We show them that they are image bearers of God. And it takes a lot to make that happen. Guys, you want to dim the lights and put that video up? Here it is.
It's an epidemic of fear, hidden behind closed doors and closed mouths, known only to the children who go without enough, without safety, without love. Who will speak for the children? For the children who live family-induced trauma, neglect, abuse, abandonment, institutional systems intercede, but strain within the growing weight. We fight to support these systems, make them stronger, better, loving, safe. For the children. 500,000 children, family ties severed, free falling into a world uncared for, untethered, unable to pick up their own pieces. Cycles perpetuated across generations. We say stop. We bring them together, offer safety, rest, connection, reprieve. We offer healing. We offer peace for the children. Doing whatever it takes to listen, to see, to offer acceptance, serving through camps, clubs, adoptions, as advocates and mentors, building stronger communities, unrelenting in our presence. We are here for the future. We are here for the children.
We spend hundreds of billions of dollars, our country does, nonprofit organizations do, rehabilitating. We have to spend our money preventing. And that's what this organization's about. It's the mission of Royal Family Kids to help transform communities around the country and the world by interrupting the cycles of neglect, abuse, and abandonment of children in the foster care system. We get an array of children. In every case, though, these children have been neglected. In many cases, they've been abused physically and or sexually.
I grew up in foster care ever since I was 3 weeks old, all the way up until I was 22 years old. I grew up in a total of 6 homes. My first home, my foster mom, she passed away with cancer. I was with her for 8 years. Second home, I was with her for 8 years as well, and that's when I was introduced to Royal Family Kids.
So RFK is known as a camp, and it is very much a 5-day camp held in 43 states in hundreds of communities. So a camp is vital for these kids because most of them never experience a vacation. They never experience setting where it's safe to be a kid.
We're already trying to subside the trauma that they've been through. Their trauma took place in a relationship. I mean, whether it's mom, dad, or someone else, the trauma was relationship related. So what's happening at Royal Family? We're building relationships with these kids.
So Royal Family Kids has changed a lot in my life. It helped me find my identity because growing up in different homes, sometimes you lose that. You forget who you are. And I remember like, okay, I'm a child of God. I'm beautiful. I am courageous and adventurous. So it just reminded me of who I was.
So camp is the powerful way in. But we also mentor these children. We have mentoring clubs for them. And these are phenomenal year-long programs where these children who spend 5 days together are also able to come together every single month. So these children finally have somebody who they can turn to. We can solve this problem. We're already doing it, but we need your help.
If we can do some preventive work, and if we could invest up front in these kids, we are going to drastically change the trajectory of their lives. And what we're going to do then is build stronger communities. And I think all of those things are a very good reason to get involved with Royal Family Kids.
You can make a difference. You can volunteer. You can share us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. You can make a donation. You can go to our website and find the Royal Family chapter in your community and call the director. You know, not everybody could be a foster parent, but everybody can make a difference. We can do this together.
Hi, my name is Kate Smith, and I'm the director of Lighthouse Royal Family Kids Camp. Royal Family Kids is the flagship program within the organization called For the Children. And we would like to introduce you to the camp part that we get the privilege of doing, which is called Royal Family Kids. My first experience with Royal Family Kids was when I was 15 years old, and I volunteered for a camp at our home church in Lancaster, California. That's where I grew up. I feel so privileged to be a part of the leadership of this camp here in Springville because it's been very near and dear to my heart since I was 15. Our first camp in 2019 was absolutely amazing. The kids, the volunteers, even county staff, social workers, independent therapists, and CASA have become part of our extended family through this camp. Take a look at our video from that year in 2019.
Little hands, shoeless feet, lonely eyes looking back at me. Will we leave behind the innocent to grieve? On their own, on the run, when their lives have only begun. These could be our daughters and our sons. And just like a drum, I can hear their hearts beating. I know my God won't let them be defeated. Every child has a dream to belong and be loved.
Happy birthday!
Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. Break our hearts once again. Help us to remember when we were only children hoping for a friend. Won't you look around? These are the lives that the world has forgotten, waiting for doors of our hearts and our homes to open. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. When we love the least of these, when we love the least of these. If not us, who will be like Jesus to the least of these? If not us, tell me who will be like Jesus to the least of these. Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we love the least of these, then they will be brave and free. Shout your name in victory. We will love the least of these. 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 We will love the least of these.
In church one morning has a presentation about Royal Family Kids Camp from Wayne Tash, the director of Royal Family Kids Camp. And I looked over at Carolyn and I said, we need to get involved in this. I can remember walking up to the podium because they had a list there to sign with those people that wanted to be involved. and I couldn't hardly write our name. I was shaking so bad. And realizing that we were given the opportunity to maybe be just a little part of these kids' lives, and stop me anytime because I get carried away here. As the organization, our local organization, began to form, we were blessed with and asked if we would be grandma and grandpa to the kids. How could you turn that down?
You can't.
So standing back, I didn't know what to expect. And even though the training and the meetings and things that we had been to, but this is reality now. These kids are coming off of this bus. And you watch these children. They had the look of bewilderment on their face.
And
some of them were
fear.
scared. Scared to death.
Yeah.
The others were, the question was written on their face, what next? Why am I here? What do you want of me? Well, Grandma and Grandpa were the first stop that we got to meet each one of the kids, gave them a little trinket, and welcomed them to camp. How special was that? And as the week went by, you watched that bewilderment and the fear change to enjoyment and appreciation. It was such a special event. On a selfish note, it was a special event for Grandma and I to watch these kids and be able to be involved with seeing a smile on their face. The camp went for 5 days, and that smile that was on their face on the last day changed to tears for all of us, Grandma and Grandpa too. I don't know, somebody said that Grandma and Grandpa ought to get involved in this because they get emotional.
That's true.
Most assuredly am. I can't think of a more rewarding, back on a selfish note, on a more rewarding, outgoing opportunity for us as adults, as senior adults at that, to be able to provide a little smile and hope in these kids' face and in their world.
It was just so rewarding. It was funny because Grandpa, we have one day and the girls all have a tea party, a fabulous tea party, and the boys got to go fishing. Well, Grandpa decided that wasn't exactly fair because maybe the girls would like to go fishing. I don't know that the boys would want to go to a tea party, but he thought the girls ought to have an opportunity to fish. And so he set it up so they could. They fished. They had free time in the evening, and they would go to that pond, and Grandpa would be there with fishing poles, and they would just fish away. Fish away. It was really fun. I think one of the best parts about being grandparents is you get to love them like unconditionally, but there's not a lot of responsibility. You just get to love them. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was Royal Family Kids Camp. We treated those kids like royalty, and they treated us the same.
They did.
They did, because it was something so very special to them. And so looking forward to the next camp.
Thank you to our camp grandpa and grandma, Bob and Carolyn. We appreciate you guys so much. I'd like to take this next opportunity to talk about the importance of our county's social services. It's a very great honor that the church and state get to come together with a common goal in mind, and that is helping our kids that are victims of abuse, abandonment, and neglect. There are around 1,200 kids in Tulare County that are in the foster system, and the cities that have the biggest number is Visalia, Tulare, and Porterville, with 580-something foster kids just in the city of Porterville. So we have a big task on our hands. Those kids need us. They need our help. And for us to be able to help them, we need the support of our county social services. And we are privileged that they love being a part of Royal Family Kids Camp, and they want to come together with us and help us make a difference for these kids. So to tell you more about that, I'd like to introduce you to Daryl.
Hello, my name is Daryl Watson, and I'm a statistical research analyst for Child Welfare Services. In 2019, I had the honor and the privilege of scheduling foster children to attend the Royal Families Kid Camp in Springville. Now, there are many reasons that RFK camps are important for foster kids. There's a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense and a feeling of accomplishment, friendships that are formed forever. Now, some may call it therapeutic, but I call it a place where a kid can just be a kid with no worries, where they can be themselves and have fun. Now, when I visited the camp, some of my favorite memories was the birthday party and also the carnival. Seeing some of these smiling faces that just a few days before were filled with nervousness and anxiety. Just seeing them light up and having just so much fun with everyone that was at the camp. Now, there also was a moment where one of the children came up to me and gave me a hug and thanked me for letting them attend the camp. Nothing better of a feeling than that. Now, Royal Family Kids Camp has been nothing less than a miracle for the children that attend. Not only do I feel that way, but all of the managers, social workers, directors feel the exact same way. And I just want to say thank you to everyone involved in making an incredible lifelong memory for the foster children that attended. I hope one of these days that instead of 40 children, there's 140 children that can attend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daryl. We are so grateful for you, and we just love partnering together with you. This next part is the logistics. Let's get down to the nitty and gritty. Why have we asked you here? Here's the information. This is a 5-day camp, and it is very expensive. Much more than most of the camps you would be familiar with. Last year, we had 39 campers and 52 adult staff. It takes a huge staff to facilitate these children because of their unique histories. We never leave them alone, and there must always be 2 trained adults present for the volunteers' protection as well as for the campers' protection. These dedicated staff make a huge commitment of time in training and service during the camp. We have committed to cover all costs for the volunteers as well as for the campers, and that is why this camp gets so expensive. Please consider partnering together with us to make this camp possible in July. We would appreciate your supportive prayers because we are still in the midst of COVID, and we are planning to make this camp happen no matter what. So whether it's in person or a drive-through version, we are still going to need your partnership to make this possible. You can help by making a generous donation through our Venmo. Our name is @Lighthouse-Chapel. Or you can make out a check and mail it to the address that is available on your screen and in your paperwork that's there at the home that you're in. If you would like to volunteer at this amazing camp, we would love to have you be a part. Don't limit yourself because there are so many ways to be involved. If you can't stay all week, there's options for 1 day or 2 day. There's so many different things to do at camp, and we need your help. So please get involved. You can go to our website, which should be on your screen now and available in the paperwork at your table. Go to the website, fill out an application, or check out all the information on there and see all the different ways to be involved. We hope that you can partner together with us because we can't make this possible without your help. Let's come together and make a difference in the lives of kids in Tulare County that are victims of abuse, abandonment, and neglect.
Well, I hope that if you weren't involved before, that you're encouraged to be a part of it in any way, shape, or form that you can. On a funny note, when that bus rolled up, we were excited. We had made signs and we were ready to receive the kids, and the doors open, And Becky was like, get out of the way, get the kids off, there is so much puke in here. It was a massive vessel going up 190 and then down a twisted driveway. And she was like, well, okay, we can do like the sentimental stuff in a minute. Get them out. There's a small mountain of trash bags full of vomit in the back of the bus. Get them off. I'm going to bring Kate up here in a minute, but I just wanted to share a little bit of a testimony. Crap. Give me like 5 Mississippi more. Before we got up there, weeks before we got up there, we all got information cards, like little index cards with your camper's name, and what really just a condensed version of what they had been through in life and what you might be dealing with when they get there. And on the back of my camper's card, it had said that he had spinal bifida, he had limited activities, but he could stand, and that he pretty much used a wheelchair to get around. And when he got up in there, for those of you who are close with anyone who lives in a chair, there are different types of chairs. And we were in the mountains. Well, he comes off the bus, and they bust out this little hot rod wheelchair, but it's a lowrider. And there are rocks and roots everywhere. There are no roads on the camp. It's just walking paths. And I thought about what his card said, and it said limited activity, can stand, can play, can do. And I realized that his social worker had just lied to get him there, and I was so grateful because he needed to be there. He was very limited in everything, but the things that he could do were amazing. I don't know if there was a shot in there of him playing volleyball, but I mean, when you live in a chair, man, you got some guns, and that kid could just pop, put it over, and with accuracy too. And and anything that we could do that he could a little bit do, he did it, and he did it wholeheartedly. And he didn't seem, man, life had been so hard on him that he was just used to it, And he was such a trooper, and he was such an encouragement to me. Now, I mentioned the chair because there was no way we were going to do a 5-day camp in that chair. And when we talked about any way that you can be of help, please be of help, I called my boss at Sycon immediately, and we had, did you see the chair with the big balloon tires? That's a Sycon piece of equipment. And we have those there for kids that can't walk on trail. They got big balloon tires. And I called and I said, please, 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 and thank you. And she said it will be outside the office waiting for whoever's going to pick it up. Send them. You can use it. And somebody who really couldn't be, like I mentioned before, boots on the ground at the camp, was running part of the wagon train. And after work, they ran to Sycon, which if you know the area, you either go up one side of the mountain or the other. They ran to Sycon, ran back down, ran all the way up to Quaker Meadows, and as this kid was coming out of the mess hall after dinner in his little lowrider chair, he had this like monster truck wheelchair waiting on him, and we had a blast. I broke the chair, guys. I had to fix the chair before I brought it back to Sycon. I don't even think I did. Dave, help me fix it? Yeah? It was missing some stuff, because when that kid got to go fast, I was running all week. Just the routes that I mentioned were now ramps. And every time we had to go somewhere, I'm running and I'm throwing his wheels back and boom, bouncing. And we had a blast. But I wanted to highlight that because that was an unexpected thing that we didn't expect to need, that we needed immediately. And somebody got it to us. And if you aren't able to be a part of the camp itself, you can help. I promise you, you can help. However you can do it, do it. Kate's going to come up here and share a few words. In truth, this was an ill-rehearsed Sunday, so I didn't know if I was supposed to come back up after the video. I think after this, are you guys going to come back up? Yep. Are you guys going to come back up while we take an offering? Okay. So Kate's going to share a few words. And then we're going to pass the offering baskets around. If you can donate, my goodness, $1. We need all the dollars that we can get, and all the help and all the prayer and all the everything that we can get to make this happen. Please, 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 and thank you. And here's Kate.
Hey, you promised you wouldn't sit down. All right, thanks. You stayed up there. I'd like to mention that Steve-O is younger than me, and he put his on paper and mine is on the phone, so anyways. All right. I do not like public speaking, but so I wrote my stuff down, so I promise I won't go off the trail like my dad does, and we won't be here very long, all right? I know the video we focused kind of more focuses on the week-long camp versus what we're going to be able to do this year, which is a one-day camp. But that's because our long-term goal is always the week-long camp. And COVID may have kept some places closed and, slowed us down, but it hasn't and it won't stop us. Gifts were mailed to kids in 2020, and this year we're going to rock the one-day camp. I just know we are. Next year we are praying to be back to the week-long camp and are already working towards our financial goals. We're at about $29,000 right now. Our goal is 50. God can touch these kids in one day, just like he can affect our lives that quickly too, and he does, trust me, he does. So we'll let the Spirit lead us, as the song says, on October 2nd. I try really hard not to get emotional when talking about RFK so I can seem professional, but it's super hard for me. When I think about all that comes together to better the lives of kids who are victims of abuse, abandonment, and neglect, I'm literally in awe of how God uses people to accomplish greater things than really we can even imagine. We can't imagine it, honestly. It takes my breath away on a daily basis. From hardworking people sacrificing their time and job to help, to social workers, CASA volunteers, county and state officials, the sheriff's department and their K-9 unit, to endless numbers of churches, organizations, businesses, nonprofits, kids, teens, seniors, all giving their time, finances, prayer, encouragement, advice, love, smiles, energy, sweat, lots of sweat, talent, and so much more. And somehow, by some miraculous miracle, every single one of these corporations and people all come together with the same focus and goal, which is bettering the lives of kids who have been victims of such horrible abuse, abandonment, or neglect that literally our minds can't even comprehend it, much less a kid that's in the age range of 6 to 12 years old. It's hard not to break for something as beautiful and painful as that. Sometimes just the pure excitement brings me to my knees in tears and joy. One of this year's big excitements is that the Tule River Reservation has accepted our invitation to be a part, and they are sending 15 kids this year. They want to be involved every year, and they want to talk about more ways that they can help. God is so good because, trust me, I did not seem professional on that day up at the reservation. I was telling the ladies earlier, I was so nervous, I cracked way too many jokes, and none of my jokes made sense. So, God works in mysterious ways. And he helps work through my weaknesses and my strengths, and he sends those that he knows are able to do what I absolutely can't. A huge part of RFK is giving the kids the opportunity to just be a kid. Some of these kids are so full of worry, terror, and really unrealistic responsibilities that they miss out on experiencing the fun and joy that childhood can bring. These burdens the kids carry are hard for us adults to imagine, much less a child. Again, that's in the age range of 6 to 12 years old. I'm talking financial stress, fear of drugs, sexual fears, fear that no one is trustworthy, the stress of if they will get to sleep in a bed, the stress of how will they get to school on their own and remember everything they need, the burden of trying to protect or feed their own siblings, the pain of why doesn't mom love me or why did dad leave me. Again, these are kids that are 6 to 12 years old. And so much more has happened to these kids. It's important that they get a chance to be stress-free, eat food, and have fun. So we'd love for you to experience a small glimpse of that with us today by just simply having fun. We'll eat together, play some games together, and cheer each other on. And also I want to point out that there is a table back there that has information on RFK. I had a picture up here. I don't know where it went. But there is a picture, a whole bunch of these pictures on that table of the group that was up there all week in 2019. I wish I had a picture of all the other people because there's about 60, if not more, people that were involved just coming up one day, helping here and there, whatever they could do. But this is everybody that dedicated 6 days of their summer to be up there. And if you guys would all take one and remember to pray for this every year, because this is an annual thing, I would really appreciate it. But there's also so much information on agencies that have asked and want to be involved, from Tulare County's local human trafficking task force, specifically for child trafficking, and Tulare County's Child Protective Agency. There's information on being a resource parent, which is the new name for foster parent. And the whole reason it has a new name is because when we hear foster parent, we hear, okay, you know, I'm taking a kid on long term, hopefully adopting them someday. But there are so many other things that they do now, from emergency parenting. Maybe the parents got taken to jail in one night and they just need a bed for that kid for a couple nights until they can figure out something to do. So that's why it's called resource parenting now. And we have some beautiful people who were resource parents for a good year during COVID, and they have dramatically changed that kid's life in ways that I can't even explain to you. So as I wrap up, so we can eat, because I'm finally not nervous and ready to eat. I'd like the men to come forward. For those of you, I really don't like this part, but I've learned that I have to get used to it. But for those of you that have prayed and planned to tithe today for Lighthouse and the things that we do here, this will be your opportunity to do that. And for those of you that have been moved by hearing about this camp and want to support it financially, this will be your opportunity for that. For those of you that maybe feel like, well, I can't just give one lump sum that's going to make a difference, but I could give a little bit every month, this will be your opportunity for that. There's envelopes on the chairs in front of you. If you want it to specifically be for the camp, just mark on there RFK. If you want us to know and be encouraged that you're going to support us monthly, just mark that on the envelope so we can feel your support. Honestly, there's lots of opportunities to be involved, and every single one is so important, and a lot of them are way more important than the money. And prayer is a huge one. So please pick up one of these pictures and put it somewhere to where you can remember to pray for kids all over, not just in Tulare County, but all over, that are struggling with abuse, abandonment, and neglect. And for those that are working so hard to stop that cycle of abuse and change their lives. So men, if you could please come forward. We'll pray together, and then I'll attempt to play music and sing with them again. God, please let us hear your voice and know where you are leading us and where you want us to be. Please help us see you in all of the dark places, because there are so many in this world. And please help us let you shine in our dark places too. In Jesus' name, amen.